Morning, everyone, and welcome to the Prima Advanced User Forum. This is Andre with Prima Software US. I'll be your host today, and we'll be covering some general management tools that will help with organizing your Prima backend. I'll be showing you some tips on creating temporary addresses, organizing companies using groups and classifications, and using our housekeeping options in admin. This session is going to save you some valuable time and make your daily purchasing routines a little smoother. Andrew is going to be available in the chat to help answer your questions as I cover content on screen. You can access the chat by hovering over the bottom border of your display window and clicking on your link to the chat pop-up. After I cover the content for today, we're going to unmute everyone to open the floor to about 15 minutes of questions. So we'll first start with creating temporary addresses. This can be set from within sales orders. I've got one open here. And taking a look here, we can see the address here. To set a temporary address, we can go ahead and click on address. And when typing in a new address, we can go ahead and enter in a field. In this case, I'm going to send this to 1234 Anywhere Street. And then I'm going to click is a single use address here at the bottom to make sure that this is a temporary use address. We'll go ahead and click save and select. And this will add it as an option here. So you can see that new change here. We can also search for addresses using the multi-search here. We can also click this to include previously used single addresses in the search. So in this case, if we were to search for 123, if we were to change this to headquarters here, and we wanted to search for, again, 1234 Anywhere Street, we can see that appear in the search here, in this as our selection in the drop-down menu, and we can select save and select to confirm that change. Next up is using groups and classifications. So these are a great way of sorting your companies internally. We can see those real quick if we navigate to company here. And taking a look at company details, we can see the business group on the main header in this drop-down menu. In this case, we've got this company set to government. We can click add item to create another business group, or not assigned to deselect the option here. We can select classifications on the marketing tab, which will be here. And we can see the options for selection here. Clicking the drop-down menu, we can select a code here. And we can add new ones by clicking the plus option here. You may notice in some databases that the default is set to HP, but we can change these in admin, and you'll see later. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and click save. We can also make changes to companies' classifications and business groups in bulk using the grid manager. So let's navigate to that now. You can select the grid managers from here under company. Clicking into the company grid manager, we can see a variety of things here. We can see the different classifications as well as the business group and sort on all the other parameters for a company. So let's click on government here. Click search, and we'll see that we'll come up with a few options. If we navigate to change, we can see that we can change those classifications, as well as change a few other parameters as well, including the business group, whether or not they're available on web, their customer offers, which is a pricing preset for mailers and your pricing bands that you can apply, as well as what kind of default sales invoice report they generate. And those can be selected from the drop-down here. Similar to the company grid manager, the contact grid manager also has those options with a few added twists. So we'll take a look at that now. As in the contact grid as in the company grid manager, the contact grid manager has some of the similar options here, where you can sort by business group. In this case, we'll be sorting by government, classifications, as well as all the other parameters that are available for contacts. Clicking search, we can get a few options, and we can add and remove those classifications, as well as make contact specific changes, such as making them web enabled, allowing them to view order pads, or allowing them to edit order pads. Unique to the contact grid manager, we have a special option here called a CRM query. So if we go to search, click this button here, we can sort these contacts based on their company's purchasing activity. There's a few options here, but the one we'll want to point out the most here, we'll use in this case, is companies buying for the first time within the last few days. You can change the length of days and length of time here, and clicking apply, and then clicking search, we'll narrow down a few options. Now with this, you can go ahead and navigate to change. And now we have the option to assign that as a journal to the account manager with that company. So, and if you click apply, that'll get applied to the account manager, and your account managers will see that on their dashboard under this week's tasks. It will update this one here. Now that we've gone through groups and classifications, we'll want to make changes to those. So let's go ahead and take a look at admin. So here in admin, we can make changes to those groups and those classifications that I mentioned earlier. So you can do that under general, and then go into user defined labels. The company and contact classifications are separate. You can see those here. You can just set those, and after making your changes, click save and close. And as shown here, the contact details for the contact labels are separate for the classifications. So those are set independently in their own window here. Admin General just has a lot of great tools for organizing your companies and setting your defaults also. For creating new companies, you can set your defaults in here as well, using the company and location defaults under system keys. Some things to note that you want to note here is that you can set your customer offers, which are your pricing presets, whether or not you have what kind of delivery charge you have for new companies, as well as setting the default business group values, as well as the default reports for new companies as well. And finally, we'll want to cover automation. Clicking on automation here and clicking on housekeeping, you'll see a few options. The first two are for the system, which are for mostly internal use. The other two are for user use, and that's for, you can use these to convert customers to prospects who haven't ordered within a certain time period, and archive sales quotes were required older than a certain time period. Clicking in here, we have the option to make changes to the length of time that you're working on, whether it's months or days, as well as what schedule that runs on. And that concludes the tips for today's Advanced User Forum. We appreciate all of you who joined us for today's session, and we'll open the floor for questions.